Hi, hello, and welcome
to the Story Is Pod
with Katie
and Amanda.
You guys, welcome to this very special episode.
Yeah.
We're so excited to be joined by a local author, a charlatan. Is that the right word? Charlatan feels wrong.
I think it's charlatan.
Charlatan. A charlatan is something else.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Charlatan.
Yeah. Let's not start off calling our guest a charlatan,
well,
please.
Listen, we do own a romance bookstore. It's not like it would just be totally out of the realm.
Sure. Let's not say we did.
A rake, perhaps.
Oh, a rake.
Listen,
very Victorian
I
of
have
us.
Bridgerton on the mind, so it's very, top of mind. But anywho, without further ado, please welcome into your ears and your eyeballs, if you're watching on YouTube, Meg Rosenthal.
Yay!
Hi! Tiny claps. Welcome,
Hi,
Meg.
thank you
How are you?
guys. I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming.
Thrilled you're here. You are a fellow podcaster as well.
Yes.
So this is like old game for you. Do you love it? How are you liking your podcast journey?
It's been fun. I am so technologically inept. So the fact that I can actually stand back and be like, hey, I run a podcast, that's wild. I never thought that. But that was a new journey for me. Last year, 2025, I started my own podcast called The Architecture of Story, where we teach beginning writers how to structure their novels. But it's very fun being on this side of the pod. I don't often get to be on this side. Usually I'm interviewing guests.
That's so cool. Who all of you had on? Because we were doing a little research and we saw you've had some pretty cool guests. Anybody in particular that you really loved? Not that you have to pick a favorite. But anybody that was really wow, this one was really good.
Strangely, I was actually thinking about that today. I had no idea you were going to ask that. And I was thinking about that today because when we're recording right now, I just posted the final season finale. And yeah, so I was kind of looking back. It was a 12 episode series and I'm not sure how much more it's going to continue off of that. The whole idea of the podcast was to support the editing business that I started last year as well.
Yes.
And I really just wanted to kind of give authors and writers tools to build their stories too. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. I'm super nerdy and I'm super passionate about how do you build a story. And so as I was starting to get editing clients, I figured this would be a great way to kind of, teach a man to fish a little bit and, give them a springboard to get going. But today I shared an episode with Mindy Kuhn, who is my publisher of Warren Publishing. I think that was a really fun episode to kind of finish up. Okay, we spent all this time learning how to structure a novel, but what do you do with it then? Ideally you want to get it into the hands of readers. Sure. So that one was fun today. And then I really loved, there's two story arc within genre episodes we did. I wanted to focus in on specific genres and niche tropes. And I figured this might come up in our conversation too, since you guys are a romance bookstore.
We are.
I loved the mystery genre we did. I feel like I clicked really well with that author and we had really good conversation. I featured Benjamin Bradley on that. He's local to Raleigh. Cool. And then I did a romance episode with our mutual friend, Alyssa DeRogatis. So that one was a lot of fun too.
Love Alyssa. Yes. Love.
I know. She's
That's
a cutie.
so fun. Very cool.
So can you talk a little bit about, you spoke kind of briefly that you had your publisher on. Can you talk to us a little bit about your publishing journey and what that's looked like for you?
Absolutely. I'm going to put my glasses on right now because I thought I was a cool girl and I could see everything, but I can't.
No, so. I understand. We are contact girls.
I am a contact girl, and when that fails me, which is frequently, I've got the Coke bottle glasses because I am desperately blind.
Yeah, I can see your beautiful faces now. I got you now.
Oh, good.
So I've got two contemporary romance books that are published. They're both published through Warren Publishing. I feel like a lot of writers, they get asked that question, how did you start writing? How did you publish a book? And they all have the same answer of, I was always a writer. And I really want to be original, but I'm not. I was always a writer. I was scribbling in notebooks. I was a diehard pen to paper, come up with stories when I was a kid. And really great at starting them, really tragically terrible at finishing them. So I ended up getting my major in creative writing. I went to Queen's University, which is local to Charlotte.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And
is that how you know Cece?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh,
okay,
this
makes sense.
So
this makes
funny
sense.
enough, I didn't know that she went to Queen's until I had her on the podcast and we started talking about it.
Got it.
That's
Got it.
so
Yeah.
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
She was maybe like 2 years ahead of me, and it's such a small school, so I was shocked that we never crossed paths. But we had all the same professors, and when I posted that episode, I like tagged Queen's University. I'm like, "Are you proud of us? Do you remember us?"
Yay! Go
Look
Queens!
at your alumni doing
I
things.
love
I
it.
know. Yeah, very fun. So my first novel, I actually started the drafting process for that one while I was at Queen's. And it was part of my senior year independent study. I worked closely with Sarah Creech, who is another local Charlotte author, and she teaches at the university. Yeah, we started that book, and I graduated and then finished it up over the summer. And then at that point, I'm like, wow, I know nothing about what to do with it now. And so it was a lot of trial and error to figure out, like, stepping into that world of publishing and what that looks like, and a lot of Googling and trying to like teach myself the ins and out, and floundering. And like, got myself in the query trenches and didn't know what I was doing, and got appropriately rejected and did a lot of revision work. And I ended up landing kind of by a stroke of luck with Warren. Like, I didn't even know they were local to the Carolinas until after I had sent my query package to them. And so it was just kind of like icing on the top, and just like that sign of like, this is where you should be right now. Like, this is your home.
Listen, you said something that is very familiar to me, is a lot of Googling and a
Yep.
lot of trial and error. And I know I get asked a lot, like, how did you start Trope? How did you start? Girl, the same thing as everybody else. The Google is your friend. I used it all the time. And I'll tell people, somebody came into the store today and she was asking questions about I don't want to say too much. She works with another local bookstore. She was like, "Oh, I'd love to ask you some questions about like events and like how." And I go, "Hey, I don't know anything. We just kind of figure it
Make it
out
up,
too.
yeah.
Like, we don't know either. We're just doing our best and like just trying to figure it out."
Yeah.
So I think that piece of what you said will resonate with a lot of people, because it's been a long day. Okay. But I think that will really resonate with a lot of people of like, yeah, this is just how you figure stuff out, is unfortunately on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you were accepted by Warren,
yes.
what happened next? Like, what is the next step? We know the query, we've had authors and them talking about the query process.
Yeah.
But once you're actually connected with a publishing house, then what do you do?
Oh, that's such a big question, Amanda. Well, because I think there's no one size fits all. And I think let's take a step back. So there's two main routes to publishing a book. You either have a traditional publisher, or you are an indie/self publisher. Or there's this third little branch that Warren is, and they are a hybrid publisher. So hybrid publishing kind of combines elements of both self and traditional. In the traditional publishing sphere, we're going to get ourselves a little tongue twister going. You send your query package to agents, and once an agent signs with you, then it is the agent's job to take your novel on submission to editors within publishing houses. Their job is to sell the book to the publishing house. With the hybrid publishing model, there isn't that step. Like, I didn't have to have an agent with them. I was able to query directly to the publishing house. So those steps were similar in terms of I still had to be accepted. I still had to, get through those gates per se. But once we were there and signed for one book at a time, and that's I think it may be a difference. I haven't had the experience of going through a traditional publisher if you're signed for multiple projects or not. I think it's a case-by-case basis too. But for me, we were signed one book at a time. And once we were in the thick of it, and like, I thought at that point, I was so tired of reading my first book. I'm like, I have edited it. I have had outside beta readers look at it. I have paid a professional editor to do a little once over to make sure it was as polished as possible before I queried it. And then we were going right back into it again. And we did 3 rounds of developmental edits, which at that point you're still tweaking the story. And then you go into 3 rounds of line edits where you're going kind of sentence by sentence level details, and then a final proofread too before it gets into the format. And I was so thrilled to have professional eyes helping me with that first book, because I thought it was good, and then things were brought to my attention that I'm like, I didn't even know that it could get that much better. Like, thank you. Like, wow, I'm such a newbie at this. So it was understandable why I was originally rejected, because I had work and learning to do on my own, which I think made my sophomore novel that much. It gave me such a springboard of like, I understand more. Now post the second book coming out, I feel like I've learned even more again, starting the podcast and starting, editing and with my own eye. That is, I think, one of the nice things about this industry is you're constantly evolving and learning, and as the industry shifts, like you keep shifting to keep up with it too, and so it's always learning.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to shift. You have to be able to be agile and make changes, because I think this industry specifically is very like hot and cold, up, down, all around in terms of like what people are into. So that makes sense that you would have to be able to, adjust on the fly as best you can. Unless, your name is like Stephen King and you can do whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and I know pretty well from my side, being an author, being an editor, and like working, from my perspective with the publishers. I actually am curious, and maybe it'll come up later, or we can get into it now, like what it's like with you guys too on the booksellers side, like as either industry shifts and trends come and go. I don't know. I'm curious, like your perspective, like on the flip side, like I made this product. Now, what do you guys do with it too?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think for us, and I imagine a lot of booksellers, I think you'll probably echo this, the social media aspect of it has been huge. Certainly COVID really kicked off like the book talk world, and the bookstagrammers, not that they weren't there before, but really brought them to the forefront. So for us, I feel like we're always trying to get in front of and this is the hardest part, anticipating what the next big thing is going to be. What are people going to be talking about? Is it cowboys? Is it romantasy? Is it dark
is
romance?
It hockey?
Right.
Like, are we back to hockey? Like, you're totally right.
Yeah, it's just really so for us, sometimes the books that we are maybe most passionate about might not be the ones that blow up for us. But certainly the hand selling is almost all what we do in the store, all of what we do.
Yeah, no, she's totally right. It's so funny. Especially our readership at Trope, I would say they are very online for the most part. A big contingent is very online and very active in the book space and like Bookstagram and book talk and like very online. And we're working with and I'm making generalizations here, but like we're working with a very knowledgeable set of readers, which is a blessing and a curse, okay? Because it will be a Tuesday and we'll have a girl walk in and she'll be like, where's this book? It's popping off on TikTok. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, this person posted this last night and it's got, 600,000 views and everyone's talking about it today. And I'm like, no,
well, I don't have more.
Sorry,
next Tuesday.
I wasn't scrolling last night. I missed this one. And so, yeah, it can be very cyclical. This is so funny. Literally, I'm not joking. This summer, we picked a book for book club in June called The Shots You Take by Rachel Reed. We picked this book. It was a hockey book. It was so great. Male. Oh, my God. We loved it. Amanda's like, this is so great. We picked the book, and I can distinctly remember when it was maybe right after the book club meeting. I looked at Amanda and I said, I think sports romances might be dead.
Like hockey is done.
I think our time with hockey is kind of over. Like everybody's kind of moved on. And now we're kind of on to the next thing. Cut to October or November and Heated Rivalry comes out. The show. And it's all we're selling now.
Boy, were you wrong.
It's literally all we're selling. And it's so cyclical and so like trendy. Again, for us, because we're a specialty bookstore, right? We're not a general bookstore. So like, I think they, that might look very different, but it is, wow.
Yeah.
The social piece and just like the outside influence is insane. Another really good example is, People We Meet on Vacation. That just got picked up. Love. So they just dropped the Netflix movie, and the couple of weeks leading up to it we sold that book like crazy because people wanted to read it
Before
the
it came
movie
out.
comes out. Oh, same thing with Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yep.
Summer I Turned Pretty during the summer when it was airing, and like it was the finale, the last season, and we did a whole like finale viewing party, and we sold way more copies of that than we quite literally ever had sold the entire time that I've owned Trope, which now is in our third year,
Right.
which is
Ah!
crazy. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
but it's just very interesting. I don't know if that answered your question at all.
No, absolutely. Because I think,
That
I mean,
is a
we
huge piece of it.
we feel that too as writers, and I think unfortunately we can't move as fast as you guys can. Where it's like, oh, this book's hot, I'm gonna get it in and get it on my shelves.
Right.
Like the publishing industry is so slow, and now I see that, especially like I talk on our podcast too, like the rise of writers and readers post COVID. I think it has completely changed how publishing and writing books works too. The market is huge. It's oversaturated. But it's unless you are again and like your own indie author and publisher, where I guess you have that freedom where you could produce books at a little bit quicker rate. It's if you're going through a hybrid or traditional publishing route, like trying to keep up with the trends is so hard because as soon as they're hot, then you write a book, and by the time it actually would get through all those steps to even make it on a shelf like yours, that trend may have faded. I think we're seeing a rise of writers having a backlog too, because I've been preach this advice to just write what you know, write what you like, write what you're passionate about. Don't try to write for the trends because as soon as they come, they're going to go. But if you have a backlog of projects that are just, accumulating, well, then maybe it'll come back and you'll be ready. And it just hones your skills too. The more you can keep putting pen to paper or type.
Yeah. Well, it's very cyclical, right? So in the early and like mid 2000s, like the big hot like genre was sort of this dystopian Hunger Gamesy like fight to the death, and I feel like you had like these
Divergent.
4, 5, 6 series that went just crazy in succession. Divergent, Hunger Games.
Yep.
I'm forgetting the other big one that is not coming to my mind right now. The one where like Maze Runner.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And there were some others. And, that was really hot. Everybody loved it. And then it just fell off a cliff, right? And then we went on to vampires. And then we had our vampire moment, right? Well, the dystopian is back.
Yeah.
Right? We are back. That is like the big trend that we're seeing for this year. So it all is very, very cyclical. It's just like fashion. It's just like really anything.
Yep.
Like things come and go, but they seem to find their way back around.
It's interesting because I feel like the discourse online, specifically in more contemporary romances that I have seen, is a lot more about the yearning, like the year of the yearning. Like everybody's like, oh, we want to return back to yearning. And I feel as though we haven't seen that as much in contemporary romance in the last couple of years. It became very much historical romances that you got the hand flex, the old
the Bridgerton.
I was about to say the
Pride and
Bridgerton,
Prejudice of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think we also live in a time too, we do live in the time of TikTok when it's like, I want everything and I want it right now. And I want satisfaction of like that dopamine hit in 1 second. So you read a book, you finish it. I'll just use Brimstone, for example. So Callie Hart, book 2 came out. We had girls that immediately were like, well, I need an update on book 3. I'm like, this came out yesterday.
Right.
Literally yesterday. You can't, I feel so bad for you guys sometimes because I'm like, you can't even enjoy this great thing that you worked so hard on.
Ooh, I want to talk to that too because I have a friend.
But then it's over, and you're like, and I'm ready for the next one because I need to know how it ends. Sorry, I heard a weird noise from downstairs. And now I need to know exactly what I need the next one right now, and nobody can like seem to enjoy the book in front of us because we're just ready for the next one.
So how does that feel for you as an author?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk to that too, and then it's not even my story; it's my friend's story. Because I, again, I am still writing, and I'm actively drafting my 3rd book. We can talk about that in a bit, but I'm also doing more of the editing, which I have found I really love being in an analytical mind space. Which, like, I had to come to terms with that. I really thought I was a creative person. Like, I doodle, I paint, all my wall art is self done. I write books. Like, I thought I was a creative person, and I still am. I would like to believe at my core. But I really love living in the analytical mind space of building a story, like for building blocks type thing. And looking at a manuscript and being like, okay, these pieces are missing for me. Like, how can we go in together and expand them? So one of my good internet indie friends, I've had the privilege of working on both of her contemporary books, and she had a third project that she was planning on querying to try to go traditional publishing. And she texted me and she's like, I really think I just want to go indie and self-publish the third project. And I said, okay, cool. I support you. Like, but why? And she said she had a fear of not being relevant anymore. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, girl, your second book just came out in November. Like, I think you're very relevant. Like, if it takes a little time to get that next project out, like, I don't know, like, I feel like a book a year is like even amazing accomplishment, but like, especially like in the indie circle, like the pressure to keep producing content. And I think to your point, Katie, I think a lot of that is in our social media era or this TikTok era where you want that hit of, I want the next one. So there is a pressure as artists then to just keep creating. But I think, and I've actually talked to Alyssa too about this, because her sophomore novel, there was a much longer gap, and they're letting your readership, I think, pause. I think there's two different tactics you could take, where you either continue to feed your readership when they're hungry, or you let them pause and digest it so they're even more excited for that next project to come out. I don't think one or the other is right or wrong. I think it all depends on your audience. But it definitely is a pressure that we feel as authors now to keep performing and keep up with. It's very hard to keep your blinders on and stay in your lane, and I think this is just life too right now when you can see everyone else's highlight reel. But especially in an art space where there's so much content, like, it almost feels like you're behind if you're not staying at that rapid rate too.
Yeah. We can't all keep at the breakneck pace of Allie Hazelwood with
God.
like 4 projects in a year.
Crazy.
And
what a superwoman.
Yeah.
Do you find it harder to write? I'm going to use this, and I do not mean this in any pejorative way. I own a store selling light and fluffy or like happy rom-com, like happily
HEAs,
ever afters.
yeah.
Do you find it harder or easier to write those type of books in a world that we live in right now, which is chaotic dumpster fire, trash heap, like toxic sludge era? Or what would you say?
Dude, that's such a good question. I love that. That makes you look inward a good bit. I like that. Yes and no. I think the rise in readership that we saw, and authorship, just people writing again too, during the pandemic, when things, as for an example, were so dark and a lot of people looked inward because we couldn't understand the world around us, as a way to, kind of rationalize and just work through some things. I think that is a prime example of, again, it can do two things. It can offer a form of escapism, so you desperately want those happily ever afters and those traditional romance arcs, with books in your store, things that guarantee, happiness and hope beyond the page when the dumpster fire around us is burning. But I also think I saw an interview with Rebecca Yarros where Fourth Wing was very much so based as a social commentary of what happens if you try to rewrite history. And that just clicked in my brain when I'm like, except I've been noodling with, again, I've got 2 contemporary romance, and I think at my heart and core, I always wanted to be a fantasy writer. I was very careful, again, Googling and not knowing what I was doing and, drafting the first 2 books. I needed to build my skill set to be able to have the tools to build my own world. So that was something I didn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole for quite some time. And even still with book 3, I've kind of gone back and forth. Like, do I do a third contemporary to round out that world, or do I, make that leap to fantasy? And I kept wrestling with the question of, well, one, am I good enough? Which I think is just imposter syndrome. We can get into that too. But 2, like, what do I have to say? Because I think for fantasy to hit, it kind of takes that social commentary of what's either going on now or has gone on. Like, we like dragons. We like hot fae warriors. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that I love that.
Sure
yeah. But I think the books that use those as the vehicle to drive home a commentary on maybe a dumpster fire, those really hit for me. And so when I heard that, I'm like, what do I want to talk about in today's world? And that's going to be how I draft the third book.
That's exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Can you tell us, so you said you're actively drafting, do you have any sort of timeline that you might want to throw out there and give us on what you think for book 3? Do you have any idea yet?
So I'm not, like I said with Warren, it was a book by book contract. So I'm not under contract or any obligation other than my own feeling of self-worth of, dude, I need to put another book together. I would love to have it completely polished, ready to go, either in a query package or in an indie route by the end of the year. Like that's my big goal.
That's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's still
really
very
exciting.
loose, very noodling. Because I want to build a world, a magic system, and I want to talk about what's happening around us.
That's awesome.
When you're writing your books, I find this fascinating. I love names. I think like the naming process of like the title of the book or like the characters' names, I think that is fascinating how people come up with like just the names of all of the things, all the characters, all the places. Do you have any fun names that you've decided on for this next book, or are we not at that stage yet?
Oh no, I can tell you. I'm not bound by anything other than I don't want my ideas taken.
No. You don't. Listen.
TM.
Yeah, don't take this from her.
No, I think okay, in terms of naming books, I'm bad at books. Characters usually come to me first, and then I'm like, okay, I can see the characters, I know what they look like, I know what their names are, I know how they act, what kind of scenario can I plop them into? I have like a character bank in my head, basically.
That's cool.
So the names come to me first, and then, so for example, The Right Words was my debut. It's about two college students that are partnered together to write a love story for a contest. They go to a college very much so similar to Queens. It looks just like that. It's set.
Imagine that.
Crazy. But that book is set in Charlotte, so if you're local to Charlotte, then you'll see a fun couple locations that are inspired by our actual city. But that book was called something else up until it reached like, okay, now we got to put this book on the shelves. Like, it was very much so a different name. Wow. The name was pretty boring and generic, and looking back, I'm like, wow, that was dumb. Again, didn't know what you didn't know. And The Right Words was a quote that one of the characters said. It was part of a quote. I think those are fun when you can, you're reading the book and you're like,
Call back.
You see where the title comes out. And then The Wingman has always been titled The Wingman. This fantasy project is untitled still. Doesn't really have an official title. But
What's the man's name?
The man's name?
Book?
Well, we're gonna have a little love triangle action going.
Ooh.
We are
Man's plural.
I haven't done one of those yet.
None.
So one is named Jack and one is named KJ.
Oh,
Okay.
classic. Okay, I like
Classic.
it.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it.
Well, so it was loosely,
human
they're very
names.
human, and I think at one point, and just currently still, I don't know why I said at one point, still very much so current, I might end up dropping this idea, but one of the springboards for this book, my sister actually helped me come up with. The whole world was loosely based off a deck of cards. And so
Very cool.
So yeah, and I want to really talk about like socioeconomic structures and like limitations with that. But we have our heart monarchy, our diamond district that is wealth and affluence, and then our spades are normal people, and they're ruled by exiled fae, which are clubs. And so Jack Hart is our main dude.
That's very cool.
Oh, that's really good.
I've never heard anything like that. That's
TM,
really
TM,
cool.
TM, TM.
Yeah,
Meg
yeah.
Rosenthal owns this. Do not take this
Copyright,
idea from her.
copyright.
She definitely has already filed all the paperwork
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm totally on
for
top of that.
this. Trademark.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
cool.
Thanks.
Very cool.
Thanks.
That's very cool. Oh, I like that.
I do too. That's very.
I'm very partial
I love
to a playing card.
I love it.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
You have a reader.
Thanks. I should just write it now.
Exactly. Now all you have to do is like get it to the finish line. Come on, Meg, you can do that.
Yeah, just like
Just
finish
write
up.
it.
That's fine.
Yeah, just like tippy tap tonight. You got it.
Do you find yourself wanting to write more or do more editing and more like structural work to stories?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Traditionally I would
Or
have
for
said
other people, maybe I should
yeah,
say.
no, traditionally I definitely would have said I'm a writer, but now that I'm doing more of the editing, I'm like I why choose? I could be both. And
Yeah.
Love that.
it's been good because I went through a phase where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just an editor. Now I'm like, now it's fueling the creative desire. I'm like, I feel way more equipped now to get into a whole new genre, a whole new world. Um, I am drafting differently as a result of it. I think a lot of writers are this type, just perfectionists. Like we could tinker with our stories for um, up until the point that they're on the bookshelves. If people would let us, they don't. But if they would let us, I would keep trying to like polish our babies. Um, but so traditionally, my first drafts, not first drafts, but by the time I'm turning it into someone, it's pretty polished. Like the Wingman was very structured and very plotted out before I even started writing it. And I felt really confident with that story's shape as a whole. Um, because I found I like being a little bit more in an analytical space, I am drafting this one differently. I'm calling this one draft zero. I'm basically my sister's a middle school dance teacher, so I know a dance term, blocking the dance, or like you just said in staging
Got
too.
it. Sure.
I'm basically
Sure.
feel like I'm doing that with my book right now. Like each scene is, I use Scrivener. I've used Google Docs before too, very simple, but Scrivener is a writing software that you can download too, and it's nice because it breaks it down visually with each folder has, or each chapter is within its folder, and then you could physically put scenes into that chapter. So each scene I'm working on blocking it out right now, and some scenes like are just like one line at the top. So I know needs to happen in there, but some scenes are, here's the line at the top, and then here's like 10 lines of dialogue or like one random description. Is it formatted? No. Is it proper? No, absolutely not. But it's just like loose notes for me. So when I go to a blank page, which is normally terrifying, I at least have something to kind of get me going. And so my goal is to finish draft zero and like block out the whole book and then actually do draft one where I'm not starting with a blank page, which is very different, but I kind of like it.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like a blank page can be very daunting.
Yeah.
Like, where
Imagine
do you
in
even
college when
start?
you had to start in a
Oh
paper.
my god!
Yeah.
We are not writers, right? So
No.
everything you're saying is, this sounds so impossibly hard to me.
Right.
I just don't know that I could do it.
We're consumers. We're not creators.
Yes.
Yeah.
You provide, you supply, we ingest.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Well, the hard part
I just
is
don't know
like
that I
to
got
the
it.
point of all the Googling and like, okay, if I want to be a creative, how do I do that? There's no one way that anyone does it. So like you gotta try on a lot of different outfits of drafting and writing and being an author and figure out the style that fits you.
Sure. I would just be so scared, I think, that I would just like write this thing and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, cool, cool, cool. I just rewrote Crescent City. Great.
Right.
Like that is all I would be capable of doing.
Can we go on a tangent?
Hard for me
I love that. I want to talk about that because that's a fear. That is so real.
Yeah.
I would be, yeah, even if you maybe had never read it, or like, how do you go, did I think this idea or did I read
we
this
have
10 years ago? And I'm like, wait, I don't know.
We've read some, specifically in the romantasy space. I feel
Yes,
like
that is really where it's
where we see a
Yes.
lot of that overlap. But we read a book not too long ago that we said, Katie and I finished, and I was like, hey, was that a Crescent City fanfic? Like, was it good? Absolutely.
Loved it.
But some of the like major themes in the book and major plot points,
yeah.
details, I'm like, that happened in this series too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Sarah was the first one to come up with some of that either.
No,
But
no, of course not.
you go, So my question beyond that is, especially in your editing journey, how does that work for you? How do you then pull back and go, was I inspired by what I read by somebody else? Like, do you read other works when you're writing?
Oh my gosh, such a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
How does
Can
that
you
work?
read anything while you're writing, or are you just like, no, I can't read anything for fear of it like bleeding over on accident?
I've actually been very careful to not read too much fantasy going into this for that exact reason. It's a fine line. Like I even came to your store and I'm like, I want to do my research. I'm collecting fantasy books. So I think maybe by the time draft one is done, then I want to read more like from a research perspective. I'll also like double check myself that I didn't accidentally, rewrite something fantastic. So Yeah, that's very real. But one factor that we talk about on the architecture podcast is this idea that story structure exists for a reason. There's a difference between story structure and story format, and then the actual things that happen to your characters in the plot. In terms of like basic plot points, pretty much every story has an opening scene. Pretty much every story has a catalyst that kickstarts the story. We have some rising actions happening, something big happens at the midpoint, falling action, we have a climax and a plot twist at the very end, and then the story has a resolution. Like that's pretty typical. So to feel like, what was that?
I said the old third act breakup.
Oh yeah, we love those. At that point, it's not so much a plot
No,
twist anymore.
I don't. No third act breakup. I'm not into it. I don't like it.
Gotta keep it interesting.
I don't like it.
I hate it as a reader, but then like I'm writing it and I'm like,
Yeah.
Let me tear their heart out.
yeah, double-edged sword. But so yeah, so there's this idea that readers know what works. Again, we're thinking about the market being incredibly saturated right now. If your story doesn't make sense or follow a traditional story line, there's that idea that you're going to lose attention because there's another book down the line. But on the same side, if your story isn't fresh enough, you're going to lose their attention too.
Right.
So I think working within a structure, like a structural edit, like you need to hit these plot points to make your story round and make sure your characters are going on complete character arcs and journeys. But in terms of like the nuances, like, yeah, that's a big fear of making sure like that part is quite fresh too.
Well, it's like music. Like there's only so many notes.
Chords, right.
There's only so many chords that are possible, but you want but like if you listen to like Sabrina Carpenter, Harry Styles, and Taylor Swift, they all are hitting the same beats, but they still sound different, but like your brain is like taking them in the same way. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
It's kind of the same.
I've thought about it.
But it's also like, this is what I tell people all the time too. I'm like, when people want to like clown on like romance and books and like, oh, but they all end the same. That's literally the point. That is literally the point. And think about how good the writing and the storytelling has to be for you to pick that book up and read it start to finish, knowing the ending, that they end up together. Like that's the point.
Yeah.
And how impressive is it that Allie Hazelwood has been able to write 20 books that hit the exact same beat over and over, and we're like, yep, sign me up for the next one.
Yep.
It's crazy. And I don't get the people that clown on it. It makes me mad.
Listen, they're just jealous.
They are.
Because they don't like fun and happiness.
That's right.
And we like that. But I want to turn
and
that
heartbreak, to be fair.
Yeah, we like to cry too. I want to turn that question back on you guys too, because we've got on our side of things when we are writing a book and going to a publisher and writing our query package, you have to, or it's advised that you provide comp titles and titles that are similar to your book, where and not like my book is exactly like X book, but my book takes the prose style of Y book. It has the plot twist of X book, and it would sit next to a shelf with, Z book, basically. Because I think at the end of the day, like, we are creating art, but we're creating art in an industry that, the goal is to sell books. So from a traditional publishing and marketing standpoint, like, it's got to be able to fit in a shelf. I have this idea, and maybe I'll write an essay about it at some point, where writing a book for the public sphere is a lot like being a woman. When you're being a woman, you can't be too thick, you can't be too thin, you can't smile too much, you can't have a frown. Like, the double standard that it has of who you can present yourself as is kind of similar to producing a book. Like, it needs to be similar to these books that we put on the market, but it can't copy, or it can't, toe the line where it's too similar. And I think that this is so hard to walk, is again, we're creating art, and like, it should be expressive and experimental, but if you're creating art with the goal of a traditional publishing route, that's hard because it has to be able to sell. I don't really know what my question is on that, but that's just like from our side, it's called comp
totally
titles.
Right.
So I don't know what it's like for you guys.
I love that.
You're exactly right. It's very, very similar. Like, you can't, you want to be like Sarah J. Maas, but your character, but it can't be exactly her. You'll be accused of, ripping her off, and you can't have a title or a cover that looks like this because then it looks too closely to Fourth Wing. And then if you do it this way, then it's going to be too much like Guild. And like, I just don't envy trying to come up and at this point, are there any new ideas left?
Right.
Like, are they gone? And then I read a book and I'm like, oh, we do still have new ideas. Oh my God. But then I go, but I've not read every book that's ever been written.
Right.
So maybe this is another, I don't know. It's just, it's crazy. But we as booksellers fall into this trap, I think, sometimes of wanting to compare books to each other to like make people understand how the book, when it's there, you can't, it's not a 1-to-1 comp.
Right.
Right. Like there's a book that we read, Conform. This was our book club book. You came to book
Dude,
club.
I was hoping we would talk about it. I loved meeting her. I loved what you guys did.
She was fantastic.
Well, I got up there and I'm like,
Ariel Sullivan, if you're listening,
she's fantastic.
it was incredible.
I got up there for her to sign my book, and I'm like, so awkward. I'm like, hi. I had a question prepared. I was going to make a great impression, and at the end, I'm just like, here you go. I was just like in awe. She was so cool.
She was so cool. But I mean, you read the book, and if you haven't read the book, it's a dystopian, post-apocalyptic love triangle situation. But how do you... I challenge you to describe this book to somebody, and you don't use the words Hunger Games,
Sure,
Divergent, or the Pretties,
or the Uglies, and Silo.
And it's hard because you want so badly. You're like, well, it's kind of like this, but it's also not the same. And I feel bad because I think it does a disservice to both books, right? Because they aren't the same. But you want to make these comparisons, and it's hard. It's really hard not to, but it's a really helpful tool for booksellers. But I feel a little bad every time I do it.
It's helpful for us, specifically, I think, on like new releases, if it's a new release or even like a deep backlist that we haven't been able to read. That is something that Katie and I talk about ad nauseum, is like consuming the content, because it is coming at us so fast.
It's like a fire hydrant.
We can't drink up. We can't keep up with the amount that's coming out. So it is helpful in that sense,
totally,
where we can go, oh, if somebody comes in and they're like, the best thing that I read last year was Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me. I can go, okay, this is sort of a comp to that, this contemporary romance. But I do think something, and this is perhaps unintentional, that we've done in the store, is we group things by trope. Yes. We have romantasy, we have contemporary, sports, dark, whatever. But like titles are not necessarily next to each other because we've got them alphabetized.
Right.
So if somebody comes in, this is where us as the bookseller has to be confident enough in our skill set for somebody to come in and say, hey, I really liked this. I liked the style of this person's writing. And I'll go, like, Carrie Lake is someone who comes to mind. Someone who likes... I really like kind of gothic, dark, but I like a really different prose or structure. And I'm like, you need to check out Carrie Lake. I think you'll really vibe with her. And that's where we, as the bookseller, then have to like know our stuff in order to take the comp, but also give them something that maybe wasn't a direct comp to what they were looking at.
Or what you want to give them is Sold Out, or Backward, or the heated rivalry of it all, where it's like, hey, this is totally sold out. And I know that like Rachel Reed, really hot name right now, and we love that for her. She's totally having a moment. But if you like her, you will probably also like Serena Bowen.
That's exactly
try
what I
a
was
Serena Bowen book. Try this male hot. Like it's a dance. I feel like a matchmaker sometimes. Yep. Where we're trying to like, oh, okay, so you liked this and this and this, and you like him tall, dark, and handsome with tattoos, but you usually like him as a fae. Let's try the biker man instead, because he's also tall, dark, and has tattoos, but he's not a fae. He's a biker guy. It's like matchmaking, truly. I have no idea where we were going with that.
No, I think that was a great conversation. I think you guys have the same struggle that we do too on our side.
Yes, we certainly do. It's your job is to write the material that is going to predict the trend. Then we have to predict the trend on our end of what somebody on the internet is going to pick up and start talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that talking head is us.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Right.
Oh, it's
No
so
problem.
fun. I just get to write books all
so
day. It's great.
easy.
It's so easy.
Well, Meg, we are so appreciate your time this evening. We want to do just a quick little rapid fire with you to wrap it up for this evening.
Let's do it.
And these are just some fun little this or that, just a quick whatever comes to your mind first. Hit us with your answer, okay?
I'm ready.
Okay, reading in bed or reading on the sofa?
Bed. I didn't even have to think about that.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. I'm a coffee at night time too. I'm like coffee at all times of day.
Ooh.
She's a sadist.
Kindle or a physical book?
Physical. I actually don't own a Kindle. I have an iPad, but I'm quite bad at using it.
Proud of you. Mornings or nighttime?
I really want to be a morning. I'm not. I'm a nighttime.
Yeah. Paperback or hardback?
Paperback. I really like my trophies though, but paperback just is more realistic.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you talked about this a little bit earlier, but plotter or pantser?
Traditionally I would say a heavy plotter. I'm getting a little pantsier as we go, which I feel like a hypocrite after I just said, I'm going to teach you how to structure your novel. But it's good to have
an ad.
both.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I think, go ahead.
A true series or interconnected standalones?
Interconnected standalones. And I think to your point earlier about like the girlies that read a book and immediately want the next one, I'm so guilty. Like if I don't have the next one, like my attention span will just wander, and then I have a hard time like getting back in that world when that book's out. Like I'm a much better standalone girly.
Okay.
Enemies to lovers or friends to lovers?
Friends to lovers.
Ooh.
I actually knew that. I think Alyssa asked you that, and I was like, I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
Only one bed or fake dating?
Only one bed. I love a forced proximity.
Yes, that's the answer. I love it.
All right. I just have two last questions for you. What are you reading right now? Not for work.
Yep.
What are you
for
reading
pleasure.
anything for pleasure?
I just finished it. Does that still count?
Yes.
I got an early read on Alyssa DeRogatis' How to Find Love in the Cereal Aisle. I just finished it.
And
I like that your jaw just dropped too.
Well, I'm waiting on my advanced reader
Right.
copy, and I haven't gotten it yet.
It was fantastic.
How dare you?
It was so good.
Meg will drop it off
Jealous.
tomorrow.
Oh, great. Is there an author that you are really excited about that you want to plug? It can be anybody.
That I want to plug. Well, one of my editing clients, I just finished up the very last final proofread of her book. Her name is Alyssa Burns. Her novel, The Last Special Thing, comes out April 1st. She's an indie author. It's very fast-paced, young adult, coming-of-age theme. Our girlie is getting ready to go to college, and she wants a summer of adventure, and boy, does she find it in this man that she meets, and learns what she should and should not do along the way.
Oh, I love.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like a summer of adventure with a man.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Please. And then last but not least, what is your favorite trope?
Very important.
That is a good question. I feel like I'm cheating because I already said it, but the one bed at the end, I can't get over that.
Okay.
I love
And
Do you have a favorite? What's happening to me today?
It's okay.
Do you have a favorite micro trope?
I don't think it's a microchump, but my second answer was Who Did This to You?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good. I'm really into the like the not the like the hand flex, but like the jaw version of that. The when they like tick their jaw or something.
They flex it.
Flex their jaw.
I like the
I'm very
pinkies.
into
Our
that.
pinkies are gonna
I like that
touch
too.
too. I like that one. If your
Your what?
pinkies touch, like your pinkies just graze.
Oh, like you graze.
Like graze
Yeah.
in the hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
listen, in Heated Rivalry, the shoes touching under the table absolutely
It's
sent
so
me into
great.
the
It's so
stratosphere.
great.
I loved
also
it.
really like it when they have to share a horse.
Oh, yeah, because you like to read romantasy.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Tell me you're reading I guess Cowboy. We could have that in Cowboy.
Yeah.
But it feels a little different in Cowboy.
It's definitely different. No, it's a like, oh, we have to escape the palace and
got it. The guard is after us. We got the one
love
horse.
I do. I love it so much.
All right.
I
Well,
do love
thank
it.
you so much for spending time with us tonight.
Thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us, Meg. We really
Oh,
appreciate
nowhere
it.
else I'd rather be. This was such a treat. I feel like such a fangirl, like sitting on the opposite side of you guys. This is so cool.
Angel.
You can tell us that anytime.
I will.
Anytime.
Flattering. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we appreciate you, and we send off every episode the same way. We don't.
ready?
It's a joke. We do not. It's like a running joke that it never ends the same. But make sure to follow Meg on all of her social platforms. Meg, your handle is
Instagram is at Meg Rosenthal author. TikTok is at Meg Rosenthal .author because I guess it was taken without the dot. I don't remember. And then my website is megrosenthal.com.
fabulous.
Perfect.
You can follow us on all the platforms. That's at The Story Is Pod on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Instagram,
You got 'em all.
TikTok, and YouTube.
You said YouTube twice.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
you're good.
Woo!
You're good.
I did it. You can follow me at That's Katie Mitchell.
And you can follow me at 8ace8.
It's so hard every time you say it.
It's
so
not
hard. It is.
So much shorter than yours.
I know. Okay, guys. And with that,
Go read your book.